Ireland is holding elections on Friday that could unseat the ruling party. Angry over Ireland's collapsed economy, voters are expected to get rid of the Fianna Fáil party. The party has dominated Irish politics for almost 80 years. Rory Challens is live for us in Dublin. Rory, that exact point, a party has dominated politics for over 8 decades. It must take something to unseat it, doesn't it?
Yeah, something. That something is a massive $115 billion bailout from the EU, the IMF and the European Central Bank. And Fianna Fáil, the party, as you say, that's dominated Irish politics for so long, is the party that's being held responsible for the necessity of that. They were at the helm when the banks went bust, and so they're being blamed for the situation that Ireland is at the moment. Now, I have someone with me to talk about this, is Harry McGee from the Irish Times. So the polls suggest that Fianna Fáil are in for a bit of a bruising here. What's the best that they could hope for, do you think?
Fianna Fáil have about 70, almost half of the seats in Parliament at the moment. I think they will return with about an eighth of the seat. They're going to lose 3/4 of their seats. They're going to face the biggest defeat in the history of the party, and that party has been around for 80 years. It's going to be an unprecedented meltdown for Fianna Fáil.
Now, the party that is expected to take their place, Fine Gael, they will have a big job ahead of them because the problems that Ireland is facing are big. How long do you think they have, if they do get into power, before they start to be unpopular too?
Fine Gael is the other big centre-right conservative party. There's an old saying in politics that eaten bread is soon forgotten. A little bit like Obama in the States, there's a lot of hope accompanying the Fine Gael campaign. But a little bit like Obama, if things don't begin to improve rapidly, if the economy doesn't experience growth, if jobs don't return to the economy, I think Fine Gael might find itself finding some ill winds blowing in its direction within the next 12 months or so.
Harry McGee, thank you very much. Now, all the political parties here have promised that they're going to try and renegotiate the terms of the bailout, but Irish masters, the masters of Ireland really are now in Europe and not here, and it's not expected that they will have much chance in changing Ireland's fortunes regarding the bailouts.
Rory, thanks a lot for that. Rory Challens live from Dublin. Let's go back now to Baghdad and join AlJazeera's Jane Araf on the line from Liberation Square. Jane, I understand a dramatic development there.
I don't know if you can hear me, but a riot has broken out. There were some protesters, some of the young protesters, throwing stones and throwing shoes. That prompted the Iraqi riot police, full-fledged riot police with the plastic shields, the batons, the guns to come out and rush forward. There was almost a stampede on this bridge leading to Liberation Square. Some of the people were still throwing rocks. We were pressed against the wall with riot police waving their batons, telling us to move, but there was absolutely nowhere to move. There was a struggle between those protesters who were trying to get some of them to stop throwing rocks, and the other ones who are so angry they just will not stop throwing things. Right now it's a standoff, but it could very well turn violent again at any moment.
Is anybody physically hurt? Can you see people who are physically hurt in front of you?
I'm sorry, I think you were asking if anyone was physically hurt. If that's the case, there were lots of people coming up to us who had been beaten by police. Part of what started this, there's a very tall building that overlooks this, and I'm looking at it now. It is filled with police officers taking video of the protesters. But the main problem has been that in this curfew imposed by the Iraqi government, they have not just told everyone that they can't drive. They have actually put giant concrete locks on the bridges. People have been hiding behind those bridges and throwing rocks, and that's where the riot police have come from. It's a very small space with huge numbers of people and a very tense situation.
You say huge numbers of people. I don't want to put you in the awkward position of estimating numbers, but would you say it's in the tens of thousands?
We have to run.
Okay, go ahead.
There are maybe 3,000 people here.
Okay,
and everyone is running away from the bridge.
Jane, go.
Away from the bridge because the riot police are running this way.
Get yourself to safety. Get yourself to safety, and we'll hear from you when you do. Jane Araf, live over the phone from Baghdad there. Now, the hearing of an American security contractor accused of killing 2 Pakistani men has been adjourned once again until March the 3rd. Security was tight at the high-security jail where Raymond Davis is being held and where the hearing took place. But the case has fueled tension between the U.S. and Pakistan. Washington insists Davis has diplomatic immunity and should be released. Well, let's go to the U.S., where the Wisconsin State Assembly has approved a Republican proposal to curb the collective bargaining rights of public sector unions. The debate has generated widespread demonstrations. Tens of thousands of government employees oppose the plan. Wisconsin's governor, a Republican, says the measure is critical to restoring the state's financial health. While the unrest in the Middle East is continuing to push oil prices up, Rob Reynolds reports from Los Angeles on the effect the price hikes are having on consumers.
Motorists in Los Angeles are reeling from hefty fuel price hikes.
Ridiculously high. Sure, they get away with it. Who's going to stop them?
Oil has flirted with the $100 a barrel mark in recent days as the violent upheaval in oil-rich Libya has reduced worldwide oil supplies. U.S. consumers are now paying $3.22 on average for a gallon, or about 3.8 liters, of gas. In car-dependent California, the average price hit $3.74 a gallon on Thursday. Those prices force people like aspiring actor Sam Weller to make tough choices.
I'll literally have like $10 in my pocket, and it's sort of like I have to split that between food and gas. So I'll put $5 in the tank in order to get me over the hill, and then I'll use the remainder of the $5 to somehow scrap together lunch.
But the pain doesn't stop at the pump. The high price of fuel has a ripple effect all through the American economy at a time when it's still struggling to recover from the recession. Higher cost of transport boosts the cost of food, travel, manufactured products, and a host of items from airline tickets to eggplants. Price increases act like a tax on consumers, reducing their spending power.
If consumers react to it believing that prices are going to go higher, their confidence will decline, which will cause them to cut back even further on consumer discretionary purchases. That hasn't happened yet, but that's certainly one of the risks that we face.
Traders say the images coming out of the Middle East have spooked the oil market.
It is easy to create fear in the oil market when it is centered on the most important oil-producing region in the world.
The potential impact on jobs and growth, with unemployment already at 9%, makes policymakers in the White House nervous.
Our focus now is on monitoring this and making sure that we know what our options are if they need to be taken.
Some economists predict U.S. gas prices will climb nearly 40 cents per gallon in the coming days. Rob Reynolds, Al Jazeera, Los Angeles.
At least 4 people have been killed in an attack on a NATO fuel depot near the Pakistani city of Peshawar. Around 15 fighters stormed the terminal, setting alight at least 12 fuel tankers destined for NATO forces in Afghanistan. Police say all of those killed were tanker drivers or their assistants. The death toll in New Zealand's earthquake has risen to 113. 4 days after the magnitude 6.3 quake struck Christchurch, rescue efforts have now turned to the grim task of recovery.